Welcome to Eventful Endeavors, secrets to crafting the perfect celebration. If you're planning an event and looking for useful tips from industry experts, you're in the right place. So get ready to take some notes and we'll dive right in. This is Eventful Endeavors.
All right, welcome to Eventful Endeavors. We are here today with Brianna Long, who is the events manager at Rava Wines, which, if you ask me, is one of the prettiest wineries in Paso Robles. I've played there a few times. It's fantastic. It's amazing. And correct me if I'm wrong, so you're from Paso, correct?
Yes.
So you're from Paso, and then you went to Cal State Long Beach and started doing all your event planning stuff there on an internship?
Yes, I did during college, and then I kind of stayed for 8 more years.
Yeah, I mean it's one of those things. Once you get into it, it's hard to get out of.
Well,
So now you're back in Paso, and you've been with Rava for the last couple of years now. Yeah,
yeah, I started in May of last year, so it's been about a year and a half, coming up on two
cool,
years this spring, but it's been really fun so far.
perfect. So tell me, do you guys mostly do weddings there? Is it a little bit of everything? I know last night we were just talking before we started. Like our team did a fundraiser up there. Do you do a little bit of everything? Is there something you do more of? What's kind of the main focus?
Yeah, we have a really nice mix. So we have about 10 to 15 weddings a year. And then we have a handful of community events as well. So, like your fundraisers, we have a few school dances, and then we do quite a few public events. We try to do a concert once a quarter. We do a lot of live music in the summer. We've been having like comedy nights, obviously dueling pianos.
Yeah.
Basically anything that sounds fun, we'll host.
Yeah. And just so anybody who's listening or watching knows, they have a fantastic space. I mean, how many, that indoor, I mean, it's almost like an amphitheater at this rate, but how many people can that actually hold? Because it's huge.
It's huge. I think we advertise up to 1,000.
1,000? Well, yeah. It's a really great spot. They have a nice stage with speakers and a whole AV team. And, it's one of our favorite places to play. I've not played a wedding there. I've just done like the dueling piano nights, but I really would love to see how that works. And we'll get into that in a little bit, here. But to start off, so I always ask people kind of just some generic, you've seen a lot of weddings, a lot of kind of events over the last several years. So one of the questions I'm always interested in is like, since you've gotten started in this to now, what are some of the big changes you've seen in the wedding industry overall? Like something people are doing more of, something people are doing less of? Is there anything that pops into your mind as like this is like a new trend or something that everybody's steering towards?
Oh gosh. The past couple of years, I feel like everyone's doing cold sparklers. You know
Cold
those
sparklers?
those
Yeah,
boxes on the ground that like shoot up sparks for like their first dance or their
sure.
grand entrance or something. Those have been really popular. Something that's not happening anymore is like a grand exit. I have not seen a single
Yeah,
one in like a whole
yeah,
year. They used to do
yeah.
like every wedding, I feel like used to do a grand exit with like sparklers or bubbles or something, but they're really not happening anymore. I was thinking about this the other day. Gosh, I feel like it's a lot of beige.
A lot of beige? What do you mean by a
Color
lot of beige?
palette is very like
Like color palette?
white, cream, beige. Um, yeah, it's been like the year of the black and white wedding, I think.
Sure, sure. Yeah, I've seen a lot of that too in the last year or so. It's interesting how like it used to be. One of the things I always think about is it used to be kind of, I used to see a lot of bouquet and garter tosses. Do you
Mhm.
see a lot of those still?
About 50% of the time.
Okay, yeah.
I
It used to
feel
be
like,
like every time.
yeah,
Now it's
I
like,
feel like a lot of couples are
maybe.
like skipping those traditions and
Yeah,
just making more time for like dancing or like the party
sure.
aspect, which I totally get.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you only have one day to do it, so you got to do it big, right?
Totally.
Um, this is always one that this is my favorite question because I get so curious. What is the one thing that is the most cringeworthy thing for you to see at a wedding? Like something you don't recommend anybody does on their wedding day because it's just like awkward.
No open mic speeches.
Yes.
That's a bad
Okay.
idea.
Perfect. You mean like open invitation speeches, like not
Yeah.
planned out? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yes.
I
Thank
think
you.
that
As somebody
you
who,
should
yeah.
screen your speeches.
Yes. Thank you for saying that. As somebody who has to MC all that stuff,
Oh my
when
gosh.
somebody's like, "Oh, I think we'll just open it to whoever," I'm like, "You are opening a can of worms that you don't want to open," you know? Because it's always
Yes.
like this strange uncle that like they only kind of
Yes.
know that wants to say something after like six cocktails.
No,
So,
save it for the
yes.
rehearsal dinner.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, that's great. And same kind of thing. So, what's the most, because I notice a lot of people when you've kind of talked about like the sparklers and stuff, I feel like people are doing a lot of like extra stuff nowadays. So, in the last couple of years, what's kind of one of the cooler things you've seen? Maybe something you've not seen before. It was really unique to a wedding that you were like, that was awesome. More people should do that.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I just love watching everybody, like every couple put their personal stamp on their wedding. But something I've seen like this year particularly that I think is really cool is it's kind of silly. Like wedding content creators, like it's a separate vendor and their whole job that day is to take videos and pictures like on a cell phone and they like kind of facilitate, like wedding TikTok. There's like
Yeah,
different trends. So they'll like facilitate trends like getting ready and then they'll kind of stay the whole day and like take behind the scenes pictures and videos of like family members and then they'll put together like a bunch of content and send it to you and like post and tag you and stuff. And it's just been really cool to see like a whole new kind of vendor within the wedding industry pop up because
right.
of basically TikTok and like reels and stuff. But I just think it's really cute. And then you have somebody to take care of that. So like you as a bride or your bridesmaids, friends, whatever, they don't really have to worry about it. And
Right.
you also end up getting some like pretty meaningful, cute content that maybe like the photographer and the videographer don't get, whether it's like during getting ready in the bridal suite or like, during speeches or something. You just get like another perspective.
Yeah, I've seen that before too. I've never seen somebody actually be hired for it. I had a bride and groom once that just did like a QR code that was like drop all your videos into this folder and then there was one
That's pretty,
guy who was going to edit it all together. But I like the idea of actually hiring somebody to do that.
yeah, I
Like
mean, it
just
seems like kind of
basically be on their phone.
out there and extra, but at the end of the day, years later, you're still going to have your photos and videos. So to have like
Yeah.
another set of memories, I think that's kind
Yeah.
of cool.
And the internet's forever,
Yeah.
that TikTok's never going away. I'm sure you could
Also,
probably
like
still
it's
find my
so cheap.
MySpace.
I can't imagine like trying to make TikToks while you're trying to get married and do all your pictures and
No.
stuff. Like, who has the time?
I don't have the time to do it on like a Monday afternoon. Like I forget to
Oh
do it,
yeah.
let alone at my wedding. No way.
And I'm like genuinely not good at it. So
Yeah. No, I'm a different generation, I guess. So I'm not good with TikTok. I'm trying to be, but I'm not.
there's a learning
Um,
curve.
yeah, yeah. So what about anybody, like if you had a bride and groom that just got engaged, what's like the biggest advice you would offer up front? Like, don't do this or do this. What's your number one, like, here's my advice.
Hire a wedding planner.
Yes. That is the
Unless you
best
like
answer.
Even when I got married or like when my friends in the industry have gotten married, like they'll hire a planner because they
Yeah,
know it's so much work and like it's so much email correspondence and like knowing when to do what. It'll just make your life so much easier and it really helps to enjoy the process. And I don't think it has to be like this big stressful thing. Like if you just hire your vendors and trust them to carry out your vision, like it should be really fun and less stressful than you might think.
yeah. I've had people be like, I'm going to hire my friend to plan my wedding.
No.
Bad idea. Bad idea.
That's a red
Never
flag.
goes well. Yeah. Do you guys, actually, it's a good segue. Do you guys require your couples to have a wedding planner?
We do, yeah, we do
Yep.
require a planner. I always suggest, especially because a lot of our clients are from out of the area. So I always suggest hiring a local planner like a year to
Mhm.
6 months out to kind of help get everything in order so that they're not like scrambling last
Perfect.
minute. I mean, I've had people like the day before their wedding, they're like, oh, I guess we need to buy ice. I'm like, yeah, like a lot.
These are things you probably would have thought of had you had the wedding
Yes.
planner. But
Cups,
yeah, I
ice,
notice a lot of,
and stuff.
yeah, a lot of venues are doing requiring wedding planners, and I think it's a good idea because, I got married, a couple years ago when I got married, I was sort of in the industry, but I was not totally in the wedding part of the industry, and they required it, and I was like, why do we need a wedding planner? And then I quickly realized, oh, yeah, of course. I
I
needed
get that
this a
question a
lot.
lot. And I want to
Yep.
just be like, trust me, you need one. But
Yeah.
I try to
It
explain
is
it.
probably going to be the best money you've spent on the
Yeah.
whole thing.
It
Like
is an
you,
investment,
yeah,
but it's so, so worth it.
yeah. It's so mandatory. I love it. Yeah. So let's last one, and then I want to get into kind of some more stuff about your venue specifically about Rava. But uh, what with you guys, like, what would you say is kind of the most unique thing about your venue? I mean, I know how I'd answer, but I'm curious what you think your favorite thing about it, or is what's the biggest selling point?
Well, I think an obvious selling point is it's really pretty.
Very
It's
pretty.
like one of the most beautiful venues that I've ever seen. Um, and so I just think it's an easy sell. Like the whole atmosphere is very peaceful. You're surrounded by the vineyards. It's very like thoughtfully designed and built. I would say the most unique part is probably the size. We're one of the largest venues in the county. So weddings over 200 guests, they kind of are limited in where they can choose in SLO County, and we can accommodate up to 1,000. So we get a lot of those high guest count weddings. We get a lot of Indian weddings, and we also get a lot of like big fundraisers and galas because we
Mhm.
have huge indoor space that can seat 800 people if needed.
Nice. Yeah. And again, I love it. I was going to say, and I'm going to get into this, but I think the thing that I think is the best is, so you guys, one of my questions was also going to be, is there a spot for like a bridal suite or anything like that, where like the bridegroom can get ready? So talking about this, because this is my favorite thing about the venue. So,
Well, I'm coming at you live from our bridal suite.
oh yeah, I can see. Yeah. So yeah, go ahead. You
Best
explain it to
place
them because
to
I can
Zoom
go
calls
on about
too.
it. Yeah, I can
Yeah,
go on
I
about
love
it,
our
but you
bridal
tell
suite.
them about it.
Sure. So it's kind of like an apartment, just upstairs from our tasting room. So it's a three-bedroom, two-bathroom guest house, and we're in the living room and kitchen, and then behind me in the hall is all the bedrooms. So it's really conveniently located because you're right in the middle of property. So it's great for brides when they're getting ready on site. They can kind of look over and see all of their setup going on. And it's really spacious for everybody to come and get ready. And B, it's really pretty. It's like beautifully designed, very peaceful, very photogenic. Everybody likes to get their getting ready shots.
Yeah.
That definitely helps.
Yeah. We've been lucky enough. We did a dueling pianos night there, and we were lucky enough to stay there. And I was just like, "Oh, this is the best!" Like, and it's like 100 feet from the venue where we play. It's
Yeah,
amazing. So,
it's
it's a
perfect. It's like
really,
you're working,
really
but you're
nice
also
spot.
kind of on vacation.
Yeah, yeah. That's the goal. I mean, but that's also how you want to feel on your wedding, right? You want to feel like you're
Yeah,
unstressed. You want to have a nice place to decompress, both before and
exactly.
after, and that place is fantastic. And it's on site, so you don't have to go anywhere. Like you just get ready there. You have all the time. Okay, so this is kind of going to be just kind of like a couple, not rapid fire, but kind of quick stuff that I'm just curious about, and people might be curious about as well. What's your kind of availability? Like, how far out do you guys book? Like, do you book far out? Do people need to get in touch with you early? What's that? How do you guys kind of book?
Anywhere from 6 to 18 months out. I would say
Okay,
that's pretty average right now, although sometimes we have shorter bookings, like within the 4 month window. So it's totally doable. We have a fair amount of availability in 2024 still. So, like a couple dates every season. So, like spring, summer, fall. And we are getting quite a few inquiries for 2025 already. So I haven't actually booked anything yet, but I think it's definitely coming in the next few
they're
months.
starting.
I
Yeah,
know.
yep,
It's
they're
so
starting.
crazy, but it's going to be here in like a minute.
I know. It's already almost November. That scares me.
I
Um,
know.
do you guys have in-house catering, or do people have to bring their own from outside?
We don't have in-house catering, so everybody has an opportunity to bring in their own caterer.
Cool.
We have like a handful of preferred vendors that I like to refer for catering, but there's so many great vendors in the area, so every once in a while we'll get somebody from off the list, and it's always been a good time.
Great. Well, you just answered my next question was do you have a PPL and are you required to use those people? So you do have one and it's always
We do.
recommended because you know them, they've been to the venue, but they don't necessarily have to be for that. People can do outside
Yes.
stuff. Great.
Yeah,
Cool.
so we try to get clients to book from the preferred vendor list for planner, catering, and bar service because those are kind of the most like labor intensive. I feel
Sure.
like And those vendors like would really benefit from having been here and worked here before. So they kind of know where everything is, they know how it runs, they know who to look for if they have any
Yep.
questions. But
Yep.
I'm really pretty flexible about approving people off the list. Just kind of reach out and try to give them like a tour of the venue before they sign on to anything. So, I mean, it helps the vendors too, so that they can properly prepare and like properly price out their services too, because some venues are harder to work than others.
Yep, for sure. And that actually, you're leading me right into my next questions, which are awesome. Because while I've never done a wedding up at Rava, I can only imagine that it's pretty convenient in the sense that it's kind of remote up there, right? So are there any like noise ordinances or anything like that that people have to be wary of?
So we're lucky enough to have very few neighbors, and the neighbors we do have are the owners and the owners'
Sure.
parents.
That
So
makes
we're
it
not
nice
getting
and
any
easy.
noise
Yeah.
complaints from them. The city does have a noise ordinance, so outside we have to end amplified music by 10 o'clock.
Sure. Okay, cool. And then parking, I mean, you guys have, it's so easy to get in there because you guys have just that giant parking lot, right? So it's usually
We
not a
do.
problem there.
Yeah, we have a
So,
huge parking lot, so that's never an issue. It's just a very big venue, and part of having a big venue is having plenty of parking and
yeah,
room for school buses.
perfect. Yeah, that makes it so convenient. I mean, I've done like downtown LA weddings where it's like, where are we going to park?
I don't have to go back there.
Yeah, I live out in LA right now, so it's I do a lot of those, and it's definitely
Yeah.
a little bit more tight. But
So
anyway, so last thing, do you are you on site for mostly all the events?
yes, yeah, I am
So you're there a
here
lot.
pretty much every event, with the exception of when I'm out of town.
Sure.
But I am basically your first point of contact, and then I will also be there during the event, start to finish. So it's kind of nice because I get to know my clients, and then I actually get to be there on the day of their event and kind of see everything through and get lots of pictures, get to interact with a lot of vendors. It's a good time.
Good. So you're pretty involved in like the planning process from the beginning, even if they do have a wedding coordinator as well, you still are involved in that, right?
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of information to share, and
Sure.
some clients I'm more involved than others. It kind of depends on when they get their planner involved. Some people get their planner right away, some people wait and try to do a little bit of planning beforehand. So I am here to help as much as people need me. There's some things that I don't have a ton of knowledge on, namely like pricing of other vendors. Like I don't know how much catering costs these days, but I
Right.
do have a lot of other wedding knowledge, so I'm happy to share.
Yeah. Great. Great. Well, listen, I think that's about it for everything I really wanted to ask. So, Brianna, thank you for doing this. I appreciate you being here, and we'll link to all of Rava's stuff in our notes and everything, so people can check it out. If you've not been there, I recommend just going and getting a glass of wine anytime because it's just a great vibe. I've been there. You know, if I'm ever in Paso and I'm not working, I usually go anyway just to sit and have wine out there and check out the view because it's a fantastic spot. So, thank you for doing this, and I'm looking forward to. I think we're playing up there in January,
Yes, we're excited.
so I'll be back. I'm really looking forward to that. It's always one of my favorite shows of the year, and it's a good way to kick off 2024, which is going to be fun.
Gosh, I
So
can't believe we're doing that.
I know we're doing that. All right. So thank you so much for doing this, and we'll talk to you soon. Have a great rest of your day. All right.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Eventful Endeavors, Secrets to Crafting the Perfect Celebration. We hope to have left you with some actionable ideas for your own event. If you like the show, please subscribe and definitely leave us a review. We read every comment. So until next time, happy planning and see you soon on Eventful Endeavors.